Well, good morning, everybody. Great to see you, and thank you so much for being here. We are delighted to be here with so many partners to talk about the critical topic of public safety in downtown. Public safety is a three-legged stool. We know to get public safety right, you have to, one, focus on economic development, which provides the kind of activation and vibrance that both gives people jobs and opportunity. It also brings people out to activate all of our city streets. There is no safer street than an active street. The second leg of that stool is about services and supports and prevention and intervention that help people who are struggling find their way back onto a path that's successful in the moments when they are in the greatest need. And the third part of that is around law enforcement and accountability, knowing that we also need to make sure that people know that they are accountable when they break the law. Today is about our commitment to all three of those pillars. And what we know can happen is that failing on any one of those three fails to bring you a city that is safe and vibrant in the way that we hope. If we fail to do the right work on prevention and intervention, and we simply over-incarcerate large number of nonviolent offenders, that does not solve crime. If we fail to develop an economic environment that creates jobs and gives people hope and leaves them with a sense instead of despair and turning to crime, that does not solve crime. And if we allow folks to commit crimes on our streets and sidewalks without consequence, that also does not solve crime. And today we're here to share that those days are over in Denver. And today we're going to launch a commitment to making sure we can secure that experience of vibrant in the middle of downtown with this collaborative effort. And for us, that is why we are proud to be here collaboratively to announce today the creation of a permanent downtown dedicated police unit with the focus on establishing that same sense of vibrance and safety folks love and expect in their downtown, with our ambition to make this the safest downtown in the country. So thank you. So let me walk you through a little bit of what that looks like, and many of what that looks like are the very teams that you see assembled behind us. But as I mentioned, this focus will both include an investment in services and support, an investment in law enforcement and activation, and also the economic development that attracts and brings people to be downtown. So I'll walk you through an overview of what you'll see here. First, you'll see as part of this new downtown unit, we'll have 10 officers that'll be dedicated just to downtown. That'll include foot patrol, it'll include bike patrol, it'll include motorcycle patrol. In addition, we'll add 3 more shifts of our park rangers, who will be 3 additional shifts a day coming up and through the downtown area as a way to activate and keep that supported. We will make the mounted horse patrol. We will reestablish their permanent home now as downtown. So you will see our fantastic folks in the mounted horse patrol who will be here in downtown to both add safety and add great activities for kids who love to come and pat the horses in the middle of their adventures downtown. We will add 10 extra foot patrols a day, which are just more officers who will be out on the street walking and talking and available for people that have questions, thoughts, or concerns. In addition, we also are partnering with the Downtown Denver Partnership, who will add 5 more private security offers that will add more presence in and around the downtown area so that folks feel safe and secure at all times of day or night. In addition to this, you'll also see additional surge capacity of officers for what we call the let out, which is Friday nights and Saturday nights when bars close late in the evening, and we know we have surge of potentially worrisome activity. That will be another 15 or so, 16 officers that will be present on those Friday and Saturday night let outs to provide additional security during those very, very busy times. In addition to that presence of enforcement, we are also talking about the added interventions and supports we know folks may need who are struggling with addiction or mental health issues in our downtown and around the city. That will include, we're delighted to have a partnership with Denver Health, who will have bike paramedics here in the downtown area on call for folks that need services. We will be establishing a police kiosk, which will be right here, there. Fantastic. You see it right behind you, so that people can walk up, ask questions, get connected to volunteers or services there. We are also very excited that we have 2 Denver Fire medical units. Those are nimble, available teams from Denver Fire who can respond quickly if there is someone who has a medical emergency, whether that is either physical health or mental health. In addition, we will have whole teams of outreach workers who will be doing proactive outreach and support for people who may either have mental health crisis or addiction crisis, so that we can meet them in their moment of need and connect them to services. We think this comprehensively provides a solution to all 3 of those needs. We'll have a historic investment in economic development in downtown with the Downtown Denver Development Authority. We will have a critical investment here in additional opportunities for enforcement and visibility, and we'll have historic coordination of those core services people need to make sure they can successfully get back up and on their feet. And so we're delighted to have the team assembled today who has been key partners on this. I obviously want to thank the Downtown Denver Authority, Council President. We'll talk about that in a minute, as will our Chair, Doug Tisdale, who's here. Thanks so much for their partnership. I want to introduce Chief Thomas and Commander Bowser, who will talk a little bit about our safety support. We're delighted to have our new District Attorney, John Walsh, here, who's been a critical partner for us in this effort. We think this represents a really unique moment in Denver history with the coming together of all of the critical forces and services needed to make this downtown so vibrant. So with that, I'll give it over to the man in charge, the Police Chief, Ron Thomas.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for coming on this important day. I just really want to reiterate our commitment to safety in downtown. I think highlighted by our additional investment, particularly in the mall area. What does that investment look like? Again, an additional 2 motorcycles to our motorcycle unit, which was 18, is now 20. And then an additional 8 bicycles to our 2 officer bicycle units. So now a total of 10 expanded officers in that particular unit. You see our kiosk behind you, which we believe will serve as a hub for officers in District 6, not just the officers specifically assigned to the mall, but also officers assigned to surrounding precincts. And I think it will also be a place where a community can come for resources. And so we're thankful for those additions. I really want to thank the DDA as well for their investment that will allow us to have 10 additional foot patrol shifts in this area. And so the question obviously is why are we doing this? And I can tell you that 2024 we did see some measurable reductions in crime in this area. However, 2025 we did unfortunately see a significant spike, highlighted by the deadly stabbings that occurred in January on the 16th Street Mall. And so we have thankfully seen kind of a return to that reduction in crime. However, we recognize that we need to do a better job making sure that perception matches reality. And so we understand the value of presence in enhancing that perception. We also recognize the value in addressing lower level crimes that we really believe drive perceptions of crime. And so I'm happy to be able to announce that we've got some significant community and city partners that we'll be working with so that we can both hold folks accountable, but also make sure that we're addressing some of those causal factors, I think, that relate to crime. And as I talk about city partners, I want to introduce I think one of our greatest community partners, and that is City Council President Amanda Sandoval.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate the partnership. And first of all, thank you all for being out here. What a beautiful day to be in downtown Denver, especially after a little bit of snow last night. Over the past year, city staff and myself as a Downtown Denver Authority board member, we have engaged with countless downtown residents and businesses, listening to their concerns and our priorities. Again and again, one message has been loud and clear: safety, and safety must come first. As Council President and a Downtown Denver Development Authority board member, our board recognizes a thriving downtown starts with people feeling safe. That's why we fully support using DDA funds to expand safety patrols in the downtown core. These additional patrol hours will not only increase the presence of uniformed officers, but enhance public safety across the entire downtown area. This investment isn't tied to a single development, unlike what the Downtown Denver Authority does. It's about building a foundation for long-term success. That's our goal, is to reimagine downtown Denver as a safe, thriving environment. When people, all of you out here, feel secure, businesses can flourish, which is the backbone of Denver and always has been, our small local businesses. Public spaces can be activated, tactical urbanism at its finest, and our city can reach its full potential. This is about creating a downtown where residents, visitors, workers can all feel safe and welcome. And that is what our community and Denver deserves. If you have any questions, our chair will be able to answer, Doug Tingsdale, about the Downtown Denver Development Authority, and happy to as well. And now it's my great honor to introduce our District Attorney, John Walsh.
Thank you, Council President. My name is John Walsh. I'm Denver's District Attorney. Today is an exciting day for downtown Denver. It's an exciting day for the entire city of Denver. I've worked really a professional lifetime, decades, in downtown, and I can tell you from firsthand experience what a wonderful place it is, both for work and for play. So what we're seeing here today is a partnership with the city, with the downtown business community, with the Denver DA's office, and all of the different players to make sure that downtown Denver is safe and secure, because that is the foundation on which the vibrancy and the energy of our downtown, and frankly our entire city, depends. So with that in mind, I want to just tell you clearly and unequivocally that the Denver District Attorney's Office is all in to support this effort on behalf of the city and the community, and we will be there at every step of the way. A couple of things I want to focus on. In addition to the very substantial resources we already devote to matters coming out of downtown Denver, we have designated one of our most experienced prosecutors to serve as a coordinator, a point of contact, a strategic partner, working with the Denver Police Department and the community to ensure that we're not only effectively enforcing the law, but that, as the mayor said, we're working every day to prevent crime and to keep people out of the system when that's effective. In addition to that, we've designated another senior prosecutor to work on an organized retail theft task force that the city has set up, because that's an issue that has adversely affected all too many businesses, not only downtown Denver, but around the city. We can do more on these things. So I want to just say, today is an exciting day because it is the beginning of an effort by the city and the community and the DA's office working together to move us to a new place and to bring that bright and shining future to downtown Denver that we all know is just waiting to happen. So thank you very much. It's an enormous privilege for me now to introduce Derek Friedman, the owner of Sports Fan, a downtown business. Derek.
I just want to say thank you to the mayor and staff for inviting me to speak on this topic. I own 3 different stores on the 16th Street Mall, a couple of Sports Fans, and one Sockham. And the things that we sell are 100% discretionary: jerseys, hats, ridiculous socks. And so our stores require foot traffic from people who are just out wandering. People who are relaxed and exploring, and a safe environment is crucial and critical to getting people to wander. And that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about this initiative. But I'm even more excited because of the personal journey that I've been on to this point today. So in 2014, I bought Sports Fan from the original owner. And since then, I have spent countless hours on 16th Street and downtown Denver. There's not an hour or a day that I have not been present, wandering, doing deliveries, and every hour of day and night. And so from 2014 to 2019, I would characterize the environment as pretty normal. There were certainly incidents, and for us, shoplifting is kind of a normal course of retail. But starting in 2019, I saw and experienced a totally different environment. We suffered from a massive increase in theft. I boarded up my stores during the riots. I cleaned up my stores after looting, and I consoled employees who had been personally threatened. And I even spent the entire nights, several nights, in the back of my stores in an attempt to protect them. And as a result of that, some of you may know that in early 2022, I launched a crime spike fee, which applied a 1% fee to every sale that we made. I'm not going to get into the details of that. It got national coverage, and so it's not necessary. But I will tell you that after 3 years, I made the decision last week to end it, and it concluded on March 31st. Now, it didn't end because we made up from all the losses that we had. There wasn't any way that we were going to be able to recover that. I would have had to charge a lot more. And it didn't end because I thought that crime in Denver had stopped. It's a big city, so shoplifting and other incidents will happen. And it also didn't occur. I didn't end it because of this announcement. I found out about this about 24 hours ago. So I ended it because things had started to look and feel normal. They started to look and feel like when I had bought the business. So I want to tell you a story that started my thinking about ending the fee. It was an evening on a Saturday in mid-November, and the fences had just come down in front of one of my stores, and I was delivering some product, and there were 3 kids, 3 boys, probably 8 to 10 years old, and they were right on 16th Street. They had just purchased a Broncos football, and they were just throwing it to each other. And their dads were standing close by and just chatting, and I learned that the next day, Sunday, they were going to be going to their first Bronco game, and they had driven down from Wyoming or Montana, and it was a really special event for them. For me, it was cool to see it again, but it wasn't unique. I had seen many people and experienced situations like that a ton before 2019. Just people out on 16th Street discovering and experiencing Denver. And so if you fast forward to the last couple months, as construction has cleared completely in front of a couple of our stores, DPD cars and other security cars and the folks that you see behind me have appeared. And for some folks, that might feel new and totally different. But for me, it feels a lot like when I bought Sports Fan. And so this is a fragile situation. And so that's why I'm super excited about the increased investment. The plan for horses and bikes and foot patrol, it's exactly what we need, and it feels very familiar. And so we've had these things before, and I do hope that they bring us the safety and vibrancy that the mayor talks about. And as a side note, about 10 years ago, if we were able to replicate everything, we might not just have a safe and vibrant city, but we might also have a Broncos parade as well. So I want to thank everyone who's made this possible, and I'm going to turn it over to Commander Bowser, who's been with us for 25 years.
Thank you so much for being here today. I just wanted to, first of all, echo all of the comments and the words that have been said by the great leaders you see behind me. But from me, I wanted to tell you how honored I am to be up here standing in front of you today with this group of people. This group of people, this group of leaders, the teams that you see behind me who are fully committed to the shared goal of a safe and vibrant and welcoming downtown Denver for everyone who lives, works, and plays here. I am beyond grateful and excited to be a small part of that shared goal, and I look forward to continuing this really important work together. And with that, I'm going to reintroduce our mayor, Mike Johnston.
Great. I got so excited, one thing I forgot to announce. which is in addition to all of the team that you'll see assembled here, one question we often get is, how can I, as a resident, reach out? Sometimes there are 6 different numbers that I have to remember to 6 different city agencies, and how do I call them? And how do I call them at Saturday at 10 p.m. or Monday at 6 a.m.? And so we are very excited that thanks to the incredible work from our safety team and our 911 and 311 team, that starting next Friday, we will have a purely 2-number system in the city, which means anytime you have an emergency, there's a crime being committed or someone is in physical danger or there's a fire, you call 911. If you have an issue that is concerning, where you have someone that you think needs a mental health intervention, or you have someone that is sleeping in front of your business and you have concerns, you can call 311. And now at any time of day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we can connect you through our online answering device, our IVR system, directly to what is our 10-digit non-emergency 911 line. Much easier for you to remember. Now, anytime you need anything in Denver, you can call 911 or 311. You can also text, hey, 311. We think it makes that support for our city much simpler. So we're very excited about that. In closing, then I'll take some questions. And first, I want to say a huge thank you to Derek for being here. And I would encourage everyone to go to Sports Fan and buy some stuff. I would recommend the 1960s throwback Broncos sweatshirt. That's my favorite, but you can make your own choices when you get there. I am going to end with an ask, which is a safe city requires all of us. That means all of us have to do our part. The team that you see assembled here is doing their part. The business leaders like Derek are doing their part. They are fighting to make it through pandemics and challenges and construction to keep those stores open and vibrant and ready for you. Our friends at the Downtown Denver Partnership are doing incredible work to prepare for the reopening of 16th Street. Our team at Department of Transportation and Infrastructure is working hard on this construction to get that completed. All of our teams at Public Health that will be doing outreach and support and services will be out here and prepared. All of our team from law enforcement will be out to answer questions, provide safety, make sure this feels safe for everyone. What we need you to do is to come back to downtown. We need you to do your part by saying, wow, you know what? Heading into playoff season, I should get some tickets and come down and actually come for ice cream first and then dinner first, then stay for drinks afterwards. Hey, you know what? It's opening day on Friday. I should bring my kids and come down and go to lunch first. Or on a Saturday, let's come and spend some time here in downtown, because your feet, your traffic, your presence here is also what makes downtown magic. And so we are all going to do our part. We're committed to doing our part. We want to ask the city to also share in doing your part by saying these businesses who have fought so hard to make this downtown vibrant are ready for you to come back, and we are as well. So with that, I will say thank you. I will stop, and we are happy to take questions. If your question is, can I ride the horse or the motorcycle, the answers are no. At least that's what they told to me. But we're ready for any other questions you may have. Yes, good to see you, Mark.
I was going to ask about the horse or the motorcycle. Even after the 16th Street Mall stabbings a couple of months ago, you stood at a press conference similar to this and said that downtown Denver and the 16th Street Mall is safe. How much of this new plan is about curbing actual crime, and how much of it is about convincing people to come back to the 16th Street Mall, which the city has spent well over $100 million about trying to get people to come back?
Yeah. We are unapologetic in believing that downtowns are... Sure. Question was how much of the focus is on reducing crime and how much of it is on encouraging people to come back to downtown, if that's a fair summary. And I'd say we're unapologetic about the belief that downtown is the economic and cultural center of the city. And for the city to do well, downtown needs to do well. And that means, yes, that it's safe. It also means that it's vibrant. It means that folks are occupying the office buildings, that they're occupying restaurants and retail stores. And so we think the answer is both. We both want to make sure that we are keeping downtown safe every single day. And we want to make sure that folks feel like it's safe for them to come back downtown either to live or to work or to play. And so we think those things go hand in hand, and we think that's why some of these things are really important to be about visibility. We want this to be a place where you feel like you can go for a run at 9 o'clock at night, or you feel like you can take your kids out in the stroller at 10 o'clock on Saturday, or you can sit on a patio and have a drink and your kids can throw the football behind you and you don't have to worry about how they're doing. And so we think it is about both the actual focus on the indicators of safety and on the perception at the same time. We'll go to Chief to jump in on that.
No, I would just reiterate that we are really working to match perception to reality. The reality is that crime is down significantly throughout Denver. Homicides, I just looked at a statistic yesterday, homicides are down over 40%. Non-fatal shootings are down over the last couple of years, double digits. But you might not necessarily feel safe as you're living in Denver. And so I think that's because we need to do additional work to make sure that reality matches folks' perception. And I think that we can do that by additional presence and also by addressing some of those lower level things that I think give people the perception of unsafety.
For either the mayor or the chief, did the stabbings from months ago, which were covered a lot, did they lead to this plan?
No, this was a plan we've been working on for a series of months, focused on the reopening of downtown. We knew in the same way that when we got the fences down and the construction down, there were also important core perceptions and realities to solve around public safety. So we've been focused on that before that, but there's no doubt that added to the importance of it. And I will say, I don't want to skip over the fact that any loss of life anywhere in the city is a huge tragedy, and we take it seriously. I talked to both of the families who lost folks in those stabbings, and they both said, we want to also know that this city is going to be safe in the future for other families to come and be downtown. And so we think part of our commitment to anyone that suffered violence is to make sure we do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen again. This was a plan that was underway before that, but certainly we think it underscores the importance of getting it right. Yes, sir.
With the dogs, I'm concerned about the Skyline parks and access, and like Skyline 3 has been closed off for years, a lot of it. What's going to be done to reopen the parks for people with dogs and things like that?
Yes, we do have plans to open these parks. They're obviously under construction now, and should be open to someone. Is Adib or anyone? Amy, do you want to take this? Great, let me answer that. This is Amy Ford, who's our Director of Transportation Infrastructure.
Hi there. We are excited to showcase parts of the finished 16th Street. And if you all have been down here lately, I was down last weekend, you're seeing a vibrancy and a people returning, just an activation. It's a space to play, to enjoy. It honors the legacy of what 16th Street was. And it's really a way for us to sort of come to the heart of what we have as downtown. As far as how we're progressing right now on our construction is you will see the vast majority of 16th Street open by Memorial Day. And so you'll see that, and you see us actively working right now on that corridor. And so when I say the vast majority of it will open, the parts towards the end will still be a bit under construction as we go towards Civic Center. And additionally, there will be one small block here just in the middle that we'll be putting the finishing touches on that will be then finished by June-ish, July. But we're excited to invite everyone downtown, and if this is a manifestation of how downtown can look and feel, we collaborate with our partners in safety. It is a place to play and enjoy your time here, and we really do welcome you back.
I live and work down here. Yes, the presence is great, pat on the back, but the aggressiveness is not there. I do see the police and force out there, but I still see a lot of stuff being missed and just not handled properly. Now, with this moving forward, is this going to get more aggressive to cut down on this and to knock it out, or are we just in presence?
Thank you for the question. I would probably hesitate to use the word aggressive, but certainly we recognize that there are things that we need to do to make sure that there's not a perception of lawlessness on the mall. People openly using fentanyl, people sleeping in doorways. Again, I don't want to criminalize addiction, criminalize homelessness, and so that's why I'm so thankful for the partnerships that we have with DDPHE, the street engagement team and others, park rangers, so that we can make sure that we are holding folks accountable, but also connecting them with people that can help them address their challenges.
One more question.
Hey, Mayor.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you? Can you speak to the budget? How much is this going to cost? where is the funding coming from, that sort of thing?
Sure. Fair question. I'll let Council President step in too, because we're excited that the Downtown Denver Development Authority Board voted today to approve this as an initial funding commitment for the authority. What we heard from restaurant owners and retailers around downtown is we're really excited about a lot of the big ideas around converting commercial buildings to residential or activating more parks, but safety is the core first need to address. So we listened to that, the DDA board listened to that, and they made an initial commitment of the dollars that will support specifically the foot patrol surges and some of our weekend let-out, Friday and Saturday night surges. These other investments are existing resources that we have that we're allocating as a priority here. So the DDA will be the source of funding for this investment over the next year, and happy to let Doug or Council President talk about that.
Thank you. I'm Doug Tisdale, and I have the privilege of serving as the chair of the Denver Downtown Development Authority. And I am thrilled to say that the very first dollars that the DDA has spent with the new $500 million that the voters approved in November are dedicated to safety and security in downtown Denver. This morning, we voted to approve $3.7 million plus that will cover all of the overtime costs for the protection that is provided by our fine Denver Police Department. That is for a 12-month period that we will be covering that. We anticipate that within that 12 months, we will see significant changes in the crime map that we have for downtown Denver, which will encourage people to come back to downtown Denver, and that in and of itself provides greater safety and security by having more people present. So it's the first step that the DDA has taken, and it's the very first dollar that the DDA has spent with this new funding that all of you who live within this downtown area authorized. So we thank you all for that, and we look forward to great things. And I talked to Mayor Pena, and I got permission to borrow his line. We want you to imagine a safe and vibrant downtown Denver.
All right, I'll just close with saying thank you. I do want to say, most of all, a thank you to the incredible coalition of city employees who are gathered here, who dedicate their time, energy, investment every day to showing up for folks in need. And thanks to their incredible work and the work of our partners, it is a beautiful spring day in downtown. Downtown is open, it is safe, it is vibrant. Opening day is coming, the reopening of the mall is coming, playoff season is coming. It is a great time to be in downtown Denver, so we'll see you all out here on the mall. Thanks so much for being here.